I need some traction. You need some traction.
Hey everyone, Lloyd Lobo here, co-founder at Boast AI and Traction Conf. Today's session is brought to you by Boast AI Launch Academy in partnership with BCF Ventures, Lazaridis Institute, and Founder Institute. Today's speaker here, Dennis Yu, he's one of the top gurus, and he's worked with some of the biggest brands like WWE and Marketo to help them grow leads. And Dennis is going to share very specific tactical content today on how you can leverage videos and virtual assistants to drive leads to your business. How you doing, Dennis?
Hey, Lloyd, how are you doing? Always a good day, yeah?
Definitely. And Dennis will be joined by his good friend Tristan from Chirorevenue, and together today they're going to unleash the leads upon us. So without further ado, Dennis and Tristan, take it away.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, first off, I want to acknowledge how awesome it is to be able to hang out with Lloyd. Unfortunately, not in person, but if we could get over to see you, and I'd be there on the first plane over. And if you guys have seen us speak before at Traction, you know that we want to teach from direct example and give you guys the exact checklist on how we operate. And rather than like me being the speaker, because I'm an engineer who overcomes reluctance to speak because I want to be able to help other people, I seek out the best. And I believe the very best in video marketing, especially for lead gen, whether it's enterprise or anything at scale, is my partner here, Tristan Parmley. Our goal here is to walk you through the process that we use to be able to turn one video into 100 pieces of content and be able to create video at scale, even if you don't have a large team. By the end of this webinar, our hope is that you come away with this saying, this was one of the most amazing webinars. Thank you, Boast and Traction Conference and Lloyd, because you are going to walk away with a checklist. We're not selling you anything, so don't be afraid about that. But at the end, you're going to say, damn, that was incredible. Mm-hmm. Here's a checklist. I can follow it. It's within my reach. It's not super technical. It makes a lot of sense. I'm kicking myself on why I didn't do it before.
And by the end of this as well, I noticed that the most frequent comment was time and money. So we're going to eliminate the money issue because we're going to show you some examples from Dennis's phone that we literally shot yesterday. I think it's got like 300 likes and all kinds of comments now and all kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah. Just by shooting a video outside on an iPhone. And that'll eliminate the money issue. And then when it comes to time, all these processes and checklists are exactly what we use for our clients. It's what we use for ourselves and our teams. And it's what we use when we travel across the country and build studios for other people and brands.
Yeah. Okay. So without further ado, let's get going. We did prepare some slides, but we also want to show you that we teach directly from example, as in examples from the last 24 hours. So it's not something we did 5 years ago that we're still, trying to squeeze stuff out of. Here's the framework. You can generate 1,000 pieces of content actually from a single video. If you have a video, when you can make one long form piece of video, it can be a podcast, it can be an interview, it can be you at Starbucks with a friend. You can chop that up into lots of different pieces, provided that you have some kind of framework that covers a particular topic. We'll talk about how topics are broken down in just a moment. When you have that video, you can then transcribe it. So there's things like otter.ai that you can use separately, or rev.com that are integrated with frame.io, these other really cool tools that you maybe never heard of, but are really cool, that then allows you to turn that video into different snippets that become blog posts, become Instagram posts, that become hero videos, that become compilations of guides of, we talk about Mexican food, right? Mm-hmm. So we'll eat Mexican food. It's my favorite. And we'll have sometimes, you ever been to a Mexican restaurant and you get Montezuma's Revenge? Have you guys heard that? It's a great place, but then you're like, man, they got me this time. But with Mexican food, you have a menu and you have beans and cheese and rice and meat and lettuce and tomatoes. I know Tristan doesn't like lettuce, but you can turn it into a burrito, a tostada, an enchilada, a chalupa, a gordito, or whatever it is, right?
All the same ingredients.
It is, just recombine. And that's what you're going to do with video. So when you have video that's done the right way, you can chop it up for the aspect ratios that sit on Instagram stories in a 9:16 format of 15 seconds, 10 seconds for TikTok, also in vertical video, or YouTube in landscape where you're going 3 minutes plus. You can take all this and reassemble it so that it looks like you're creating lots and lots of video. People will hit us up saying, hey, how are you guys producing so much video? And what will happen is that we've maybe only produced a few long pieces of content every month, but we've reused it over and over again. And I'll show you a couple tricks on how to get more exposure off of that. But just understand that it starts from, it's like Start With Why, Simon Sinek. It starts from a major piece of video, usually 30 minutes up to an hour, that you chop up. And then with your team, with your machine, you're able to then chop it up into all these different pieces. So the first step is we like to tackle an issue. So choose one particular issue. Could be, how do you build your personal brand? How do you explain how you got started as a chiropractor? How do you set up a video studio? Whatever it might be. Or how is Lloyd Lobo so awesome? And how is Boast.ai helping people save $70 million on R&D tax credits, right? Awesome things. And think about, so this is an example we did for Viome. Viome is started by my friend Naveen Jain. And instead of talking about pooping in a thing and getting your RNA sequenced, let's talk about some of the experiences. Let's talk about what changed your life when you realized that spinach was a food that you shouldn't be eating, or almonds or something like that, right? And then this is something that you start out in the beginning, like, oh, what's your favorite sports team? And what do you think about the weather here in Las Vegas? Or for example, we're living in this Las Vegas penthouse. So you can imagine the kinds of things that could happen here, right? But don't, because we're working. People get the wrong idea.
All we do is check emails.
That's right. Yeah. People think all sorts of things, right? And you chop it up into different pieces. You set the rapport. By the way, my favorite thing to do is to do it as an interview, because I often don't have the energy or the knowledge, which is why I lean on this guy, to get these things done. And if I don't know anything, I'm just going to interview somebody and call it my podcast. In fact, we just called it the Coach You podcast. You get that? To do these things. And then we film it. There's different ways of filming it. Zoom, Skype, Facebook Messenger, in person, right? And there's other ways where you can make your stuff look nicer. You can go to YouTube and see all these different ways of setting up lights. My favorite thing is an iPhone with a Rode Wireless Go microphone, right? It's the best wireless microphone. It's only $200 if it's not sold out on Amazon. All this stuff's been sold out on Amazon for a while, but you'll be able to find that. But the key to good video, I want to know, what do you guys think? What's the most important thing to having a video that people don't abandon in the first 3 seconds?
Put it in the chat.
Let us know. What do you think? It'll surprise you. Oh, Brian, Steve, you guys cheated. How did you know the Wow, that is not, how did you know?
No one else even got to answer.
Oh man. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Holy crap. How did you guys know? Are you guys like reaching into the future? You're right. Audio. The key to video is audio. Bad audio kills video immediately. You can even just do it off of your phone, but if you have good audio, you don't even need great lighting, because you can just use the sun or the window to be able to make this thing work. You guys are pros. Holy moly. You guys should teach this. You also want to transcribe it. And there's many ways to transcribe it. YouTube has their transcription API. There's rev.com. Otter.ai is relatively free. There's different services. I use Fancy Hands for a number of the shorter ones. But the key is you then turn these into articles and then add them into your queue to be processed into articles. Let me ask another question. Let's see if people can get it right. When you chop up your video into words and then turn it into an article, what's the most important component of an article that will get readability, that will get SEO, that will get sharing of an article, right? You want an article to, you guys are cheap. Oh goodness. How did you guys know? Yes, it's the headline. It is the headline. Yeah. The title is more important. So if you look at BuzzFeed, if you look at any of the networks where they're distributing content, the title is more important than the body.
Yeah, you could also look up any of the news articles that come out of the state of Florida. All of those always have all kinds of sketchy stuff on it, but it gets a ton of attention. Florida man does blink.
Oh, man.
He's the world's worst superhero.
Then, as you are assembling content, now this is one of those genius inception kinds of things that'll have you thinking like Dennis is a sneaky mofo. Content that you create after the fact, you can repurpose into the structure of your topic wheel. And if you don't know topic wheel, just Google topic wheel in my name and you'll go down a real deep rabbit hole, red pill, whatever you want to call that, matrix, enemy of the state. And on the outside, you have why. Why are these different stories? Simon Sinek, start with why. Experiences that have nothing to do with your startup necessarily, but you and other people that you know, that then tie to your topics, which is the how, kind of the middle area, which then goes into the center, which is the what, which is what you're selling. So if you think about what you're selling and why people buy, it's because you are solving a particular problem and educating. And modern marketing is about educating, which then goes back to the authority that comes from someone like Billie Jean, who's a joint friend of ours, and says, Dennis Yu is really good at Facebook ads or something ridiculous like that. And we might do something silly like dance at his penthouse, or have him come to our penthouse, or work out together, the two bald brothers, the black and Chinese badass bald brothers. We've actually done videos like that.
Bad Boys. You guys should do a Bad Boys cover.
I weighed myself this morning. I was 189 pounds.
You just keep losing weight.
I was 200 pounds 2 weeks ago. And turn that into a story. You see, you're just telling stories all the time. Just dumb crap that happens all the time. Not dumb crap, just like stuff that happens, right? To humanize yourself. And you can take any content that you've created and package it back into your topic wheel. This topic wheel is building momentum. This is why you need a content marketer or a VA or somebody who can manage all these other pieces for you. So that's why, how, and what. That's a whole nother thing on top of it. Have you guys used a tool like Answer the Public, or what used to be Google's Wonder Wheel, which gave us insight into Google's LSI, or there's other tools like Word Tracker or SpyFu? But literally, you can go to Answer the Public, look at your topic, and see the most common questions, which then help you assemble the topics. All right, just for fun.
And let's ask in the chat as well. So we have the main reason why you guys are struggling with video, and we've got some tips, just like with Answer the Public, but we've also got some other tips listed out. I want to ask in the chat as well, what type of businesses are you working with? What types of businesses are you working with on your own? What types of work are you actually doing on the day-to-day? Because we'll make these videos and we'll make these guides specific to you right now. So put in the chat who you're working with. For example, as owner of Chirorevenue, I work with chiropractors. I help them lead their community to better health. And so we can pull all my examples all we want, but we want to use some of yours. So drop in the chat what you're working with.
Or topics that you want to dominate, that if you dominate that topic, then you'll be the dominant. Sustainable pesticides. That is pretty cool.
We could just look up pesticides. Let's see, just type in pesticides.
Okay, so you guys, you ever play Family Feud? You ever, Family Feud where it says survey says, right? So if you think about pesticides, and by the way, don't get hung up on any one of these tools. There's lots and lots of tools, okay? And by the way, I have no ownership interest in this one, and I only use the free versions of all these guys anyway. But if you think about pesticides, what do you think the most common things are? Now, here's something you could do. If I go to Google and I type in pesticides, pesto, even though I am ready to eat, pesticides.
There you go.
Definitions, antonyms, or
press enter, see what happens.
Or I can't even type. How to remove pesticides, how do pesticides work, how to dispose. You see, Google's already pre-suggesting. Do you know where these type ahead search results come from? It's from the topic wheel. So Google manages a topic wheel, which is basically
just like the wheel you just saw.
It's LSI.
Just so like this.
Yeah, just like this. Now you see this?
Which pesticides kill bees? Which pesticides are the least persistent? There's so much content here. Whoever dropped the pesticides, sustainable pesticides, you now have unlimited content to make.
Yeah. So if you have any question about, I don't know, people ask all the time, what kind of video should I make?
Will pesticides kill lizards?
Isn't that cool? And then you can arrange this in other ways. So with prepositions, with the who, why, how, what, where, and then organized alphabetically, right? And these things get in the way here, right? Are pesticides bad? And you might choose 5 or 6 of these different topics. You see this? I'm not saying use this tool. I'm just saying this is an example of how you might put these things together, okay? Now, just because you're making topics on, or making videos on, Nick is on antivirus, audio news mobile aggregator. Okay, you guys are more like SaaS, tech.
There's some SaaS guys in here too, yeah.
That's cool.
There's a wide mix.
That's cool.
Fitness.
Yeah. So think about those topics that you care about. You see these topics, these colored circles, choose 6 topics. And they don't have to be all 6 related to your startup. Oh, let me know for your business. How big is your business? Is it just you? Do you have a team of other people that are full-time? Freelancers don't count. Have you raised some money? Maybe you're Series A or B. Where are you guys? Just so we know how complex we can go. Because if you don't have a lot of money, then some of these things won't
Team
apply.
of
But
three,
there's still
20
stuff to do.
people, just me, 10 people bootstrapping.
Okay.
10. This is such a diverse crowd.
Seed stage
It's
30.
great.
Okay. So let's try to answer both sides of it. If you have a larger team, then you can afford to put your content team, SEO, marketing. Most marketing teams, unfortunately, are organized by function, like tool function, SEO, PPC, video, the landing page, some other tool. I want you to think about reorganizing your teams by topic, because when you go deep in topics allow you to map to authority. So the circles on the very outside are relationships that you've built and stories that you have with Lloyd or stories that you have with other people in your industry, right? And when you go deep into the topics, would you not agree that if you don't have deep relationships with people who are topically authoritative, you're not going to build content that's really going to work? Would you agree with that? Let me know. And you could pay a PR agency. You could pay someone to do SEO, but would you agree that if you or someone on your team doesn't have relationships with people who are top in your topics that you want to dominate, you're going to be fighting an uphill battle to be able to produce content that people will consume that they don't consider to be advertising? Would you agree? Does anyone disagree with that? If you agree with that, then it's more important, increasingly, especially in this digital world, which we all live in, to create content that the algorithms don't piss on. That means it has to be stuff that is fantastic, not just from a video production standpoint, but people will say, dang, I really enjoyed spending time with Tristan and Dennis because they're teaching from direct example, right? So you need to organize around relationships to collect content, because the engines are so smart, search and social engines, that they can tell whether you're faking your way there or spinning out content or using tools to create all these different things. So if we take my topic wheel and then we break it out into things that I care about. So I could say I care about digital marketing and mentorship and entrepreneurship. You and I could say that we care about these things, but what if we could anchor it to people who actually authoritatively possess that and have an audience against it? And if you're watching this on replay, press pause. And I want you to draw this on a piece of paper and think about what are your topics and who are the people that you know and who are the people that you would like to know. Or maybe you can get to that person through a second degree connection on LinkedIn, through a friend. Do whatever you need to do. Add value to that person, favorite their stuff all over the place. Don't just reach out to them on Twitter right away, cold touch, or LinkedIn. Don't be one of those LinkedIn people. You know, those ones, I get like 20 of them every day. Don't be one of those, right? And start to map this out. And you will find that you'll naturally be able to produce amazing content. So I talked to my friend Molly Pittman yesterday. I said, hey, you know, I made this great review of your book, which is fantastic. Click happy. Would you like to be on my podcast? And I want to interview you, or you can interview me. And so we're doing it. And same thing with Ezra, where we're teaching this thing in December, right? It just works well where we cross endorse each other. See how powerful this is? If you're a good networker, you're naturally building out your topic wheel. You're not just trying to play bingo by talking to all the famous people. Let me ask you in the comments, how do you decide who you want to spend time with? How do you prioritize your relationships? I don't mean like your family and your friends. I mean, from a business standpoint, how do you prioritize your relationships? You guys are already like 3 for 3. So let's see what
Somebody's
you guys have
gonna
to
hit
say.
this one.
Yeah. Because you don't have enough time to meet with everybody, right? How do you decide? Same passions, thought leaders, highly recommend Go Giver book. Okay. Yeah. ROI. Okay. Well, you could be transactional with your relationships, which is true to a certain point. But I would argue that you want to prioritize your relationships where it ties to your topics, which will long-term tie to your ROI. There are people that will give you short-term ROI, but maybe long-term don't build enough authority so that your wheel isn't powerful. If you want to build a 100-story building, you need to have a strong foundation. So think about those things and start mapping your people intentionally by topic and who you know. So you can see these are people that I know. And it's not because I'm taking a picture with me and AJ Wilcox, who's the #1 guy in LinkedIn ads. You should follow him. He's the #1 guy in LinkedIn ads. He's got the Linda course on LinkedIn ads. We are talking tomorrow about some topic. I don't remember. He's interviewing me on something, right? Tomorrow. But he's interviewing me. I'm interviewing him, right? Neil Patel's interviewed me. I've interviewed him. Brian Solis, whatever, Gary Vaynerchuk. I know
Bradley,
some of these people are polarizing,
Mentors.
right? So this is not me trying to show off my network. This is me telling you that I'm intentionally organizing my network by what topic they have and us having shared beliefs, which manifest through stories. Bradley and I, we were playing ping pong at his new office that he was setting up. Downstairs, he has this new event center because Corona, shut down things. So he's like, screw them. I'm going to set up my own event thing. And I said, Brad, when we first met, I thought you were Asian like me, Brad Lee. I mean, you think, Bruce Lee and Bradley. So I figured, he must be some other Asian guy because he built this system, because I didn't know what he looked like until I saw what he looked like. So we played ping pong and I'd let him win because I got an advantage because I'm Asian, right? But there's a story, right? And you're building relationships along the way as you're doing this.
And once you meet these people, you'll have stories. These stories will naturally happen and unfold. And you'll actually have a plan of who you need to meet and talk to for a better purpose. So I saw somebody who was in fitness, and in those topics, if you work with fitness, like gym owners, well, then you have local business as a topic. It can work in local communities. If it's fitness for the individual, it can be work-life balance or health and wellness. There's all kinds of ways to bridge those topics and then find those authorities and tie them in. And then you'll get your stories from that. And some of your stories can even be from consuming their content. Like, for example, let's say Billie Jean is on here. Yeah. So a year ago, I bought one of Billie Jean's Facebook advertising blueprints, and it allowed me to add blank, blank, blank to my clients' bottom line. But most importantly, they followed Billie Jean and they were able to see his processes, and they love how he always puts on the back of his Lamborghinis, I'm black on the tag, because their client is black too. Right. And you're just like tying a story and tying things together. And Billie has really cool ways to tie demographics together like that. Yeah.
So it's fun to collect video. It's fun to build relationships. It's fun to speak at conferences and do all this kind of stuff. But the real work, let's not kid ourselves, is in the editing and the transcription and the cross-posting. This is a picture that I took in Tel Aviv in November at Fiverr's headquarters, because we teach courses with Fiverr. And here we are talking about what's going on behind the scenes to be able to run Fiverr, to be able to teach more assistants and buyers and sellers to do this, right? And they went public, and what does that mean, right? But don't forget that from the production of the content, you then have to execute this entire sequence. How many of you guys have a podcast? Let me know in the comments. You got a podcast, or you're thinking of doing a podcast. Yeah. You know what the biggest sin is of podcasters? They're so focused on getting that podcast out that they don't, there's a lot of work on the podcast production side, but do they do any marketing? Do they promote it? Do they turn it into an article? Do they pull out snippets? That's the biggest issue. What's the sound of one SaaS marketer falling in the forest, right? You don't want that. So you can do a podcast as a way to collect content, but don't forget the most important part is getting distribution and visibility and engagement against that content, right? And that's where we start to go omni-channel. That's where we're pushing it out, repurposing into all that. You take this one big piece of content and you bust it out into lots of little pieces, which then allow other people to be able to edify you.
Exactly. And so if you guys want to, because I think we're doing 45 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So in a checklist way for your own notes, and I want you guys to write this down. You have your topic wheel based on your industry and the things that we talked about. You have your topics from the Answer the Public or Google search. And now you can make your own podcast or long form videos covering those topics, like which pesticides kill bees and why that's important for the earth, because if all the bees die, we die. right? And now you have a 10-minute video about that that can be cut and put into these other channels. You see how we're tying that together? So your topic wheel is on you. We can't do that for you, but you now have the framework from the slides.
Yeah.
And the answer to the public and Google, those tools are already there. So you don't have to try to think about making content or think about what people are going to care about, what's important. These tools already tell you what's important.
Yeah.
So you don't have to think at all.
Yeah.
And then you can go into recording.
Yeah. So what you're hearing right now from Tristan is how you're going to get around the marketing overwhelm of lots and lots of things that are going on. So I want you guys, I know some of this is like, I hear some people saying, well, I'm just a solopreneur. I can't handle all this. I can't outsource everything. How do you eat an elephant? You know, one bite at a time. I want to share with you a couple more examples, and then I want to go into the guides. And the guides are how you do the execution. Okay. So here we have a positive mention. Someone says something good. Then what's the process that you or a VA or someone that you hire can do this? So that way it's off you. You ask for permission. Maybe you send them a gift. You create follow-on content. You get them to reply. And I want to show you what that looks like. We're going to go live now, and then we're going to go into our checklist so you can see how it's actually done. Somebody name a social media channel. LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Name one that you care about. Okay, LinkedIn. Okay, good. Let's go to LinkedIn. Let's look at my LinkedIn. We teach from example. It's not like, well, I heard Lloyd Lobo say this or that. All right. So I made this post. Let's just, this first notification. I made it a day ago. Okay. Hey, I suck, but I believe that I can suck less. That's basically what I said here. And thank you, Joel. And you can see that I had 5,000 people view this. It's a day ago. So this will probably go up to 15 to 20,000, because LinkedIn, you have about 4 days. Josh Fector will agree that that's the same thing, right? And you can see these people are commenting. Why is that, Matthew Janusek? And I'll reply. And this person says, yep, all these other people are saying things. I'm not going to do this right now because this laptop is on this shaky thing that if I type, it might fall over, to try to get it more to eye level. But when you reply to these people, you're going to get double or triple the feedback. And notice that you're getting content from the content you produce. So Dr. David Durham, who's a client of ours, chiropractor, agreed. I think it's good that, to be raw. I went through many phases in life, now at 54, blah, blah, blah. Some of these people are writing full on posts. You can take these and have a VA and turn them into another post, or you can reach out and say, David, I would love to interview you on Zoom for 10 minutes about how now at the age of 54, you're now starting to get going, right? You see how when you initiate, other people can create content against that. And then you're going to see it in the messages too. We have 4 new messages. Who knows what's going on here, right? Well, I'm not going to go through this one. Let's go to Facebook, for example.
That kid would have super power.
Yeah, I got to read quicker than you guys. Maybe you can do it in slow-mo and see this.
Go to your video from the other day.
Okay. So I made yesterday. Yeah, I made this post. We were on the golf course.
iPhone, by the way.
Yep. This is the badass bald Dennis, right? And this is what, a 40-second video, something like that.
398, like 400 likes.
400 likes, all these comments. And don't think like you have to, get tons of social engagement. But look at the people that are here. Angus Nelson, this guy's a king in B2B lead gen. Hannah Haug, Charlene Mentor, she, one of the top figureheads in Dallas. Lauren Baker, Search Engine Journal. Phil Mershon, he runs Social Media Examiner. Cliff Almeida, he does agency training. Jen
And let's
Koch,
clarify,
top WordPress
let's bring
guy.
this down for everybody to bring it back down to be easily understood, is that a lot of people, when they see Dennis share something like this, they would think, well, I don't have those connections, or I won't get that engagement, or I don't have what that is. That's because he started with the topic wheel. These are people in his topic wheel.
That's right.
Because he's built relationships with them, and they have audiences and they have networks. They engage with his content, which brings more and more people in. It's not that it's going to happen instantly as you start posting videos and following the blueprint. It's got to start with those connections and getting them out there. So now when he tells the story, like a why video of why he's working so hard and starting this challenge, everyone wants to support him.
Yeah. And you know what the most powerful way is to grow? What did you say? You had some post like a month ago.
The fastest way to grow a company is to be endorsed.
Why is that important?
Because it's other people talking about you and endorsing you and publicly sharing everything to you, and allows you to also say thank you.
Would you guys agree that the most powerful way to grow your business is to get other people to talk about you? Customers, partners, employees, people out there in the universe, right? Would you agree? Yeah? Okay. So then what is the best way to get people to start endorsing you? And that's what this is. This document here, we call it the influence generator, renamed to Thank You Profits. By the way, if you want this, send a note to operations@chirorevenue.com and say, I love Lloyd Lobo. And you don't even have to be able to spell his name correctly, right?
Just send I love Lloyd Lobo and we'll send in the thank you profits.
Yeah. And this is how we literally grow our brands. So the most powerful video that you can make is to say thank you. I kid you not. Say thank you to your employees. Say thank you to your top customers. Say thank you to whatever it is. Yeah. Operations@chirorevenue.com.
I think you have the graphic in here too.
Yeah.
Correct.
So this goes on and on and on, and we have lots of ways of saying thank you. By the way, my favorite way of saying thank you is sending people socks with their faces on them. Have you guys, any of you guys seen the face socks? You can buy them at blitzgifts.com. I think it's like $20 or something like that. And it comes with a note too. I also like to go to Amazon Prime. You guys use Amazon Prime? It's fantastic, right? I like to choose items that are $10 or less. This is a friend of mine who runs the athletics department at the University of Louisville. And we had this meeting and he was talking about building teams and how building blocks are so key to be able to get the business school and the athletic teams and the business, like all these other, faculty together. And right after I had our meeting, I went to Amazon Prime and I got these candy blocks that cost me $10 with free shipping with the free note. And I said, hey, Jeff, here's to building great relationships between our school students and business communities, right? And then that came next day to him, and his daughter got it in the mail and said, wow, Dennis, how did Dennis know that? Because they watched some like Lego blocks thing. And so she thought that maybe, I was spying and saw that they were watching this Lego thing. And then he posted that on social media and created follow-on content, right? When you say thank you, that generates, here it is. My daughter and her friends think Dennis used magic because this showed up 10 minutes after we returned from the Lego movie. Thanks, Dennis. We'll have to catch up soon. Now he put this publicly. And you can see the little gift note. You see it like back there. You can see like this gift came from Dennis Yu, and here's the Lego candy blocks. This is the highest ROI marketing you can do. Say thank you, make a video about it. How long does it take you to do that, right? There's so many different ways you can say thank you. Here's one. We did one for, let's see, where's it? Adidas. Is this? No, this one's All Saints, but it's the same thing. It's the same template, okay? So when they reach a certain number of fans, or we finished a campaign, or we hit a certain milestone, we go to Fiverr or have our internal team produce one of these graphics, and we print it out on a giant poster board and mail it to them. What do you think the VP of marketing or whatnot's going to do when they get this big ass poster honoring the campaign that we just did together? What do you think happens? They're not going to throw it away. They're going to put it in their office. And then everyone who walks by is going to say, what's that? Oh, that was the thing that we ran, that we did this and this. And here's what some of the fans are saying. They share it. So what we've done is we've equipped them. This is a Trojan horse strategy. Yeah. We are saying thank you to them in all these different ways. So then they turn around and say thank you to us.
And the quote I like to say with that, guys, is no wall can withstand, or no door can withstand a Trojan horse. Because a lot of us, when it comes to building these businesses and it comes to the work that you guys do, we're always beating on the door, trying to get it to break through with the content. This is your Trojan horse. You have a topic wheel filled with people. You build a relationship with them or start, and you send them thank yous, even if you don't know them. This is another example with Billie Jean. Someone sent him a package of stuff, and he's like, I've been taking your courses for years, and I just want to say thank you, and here's this stuff. And he shared it all over his social, and he gave him all of his programs and private coaching. Right? So you already have these people on your list based on the industries that you told us you were in, based on the topics that are important to you. You already have that list of people that you've probably learned from that you can say thank you right now on social media and make videos for.
Do you guys have a morning routine Maybe you wake up, meditate, take a shower, go work out, do 75 hard, which is like what I'm doing. As part of your routine, I want you to build in 5 minutes a day just to say thank you. Pull out your phone. Don't worry about your hair or anything like, and just say thank you and post it on LinkedIn or Facebook about just a little 30-second video about why you're grateful for Lloyd Lobo, or I'm grateful for Tristan, who's the CEO of Chirorevenue, who's growing this great agency that I'm a CTO of. Like things that you're like honestly thankful for, and watch what happens. You don't have to do a webinar, just literally even like 15 seconds saying thank you to somebody in video. What I like to do is I will on here, Facebook and Messenger, I'll reply with video, right? So these ones, here's Jeremiah Oyang, right? Here he's talking about video, right? Well, actually, I don't have a video reply here, do I? Where's my video reply here? Here's my video reply. Okay. See, I'm making video replies. You can make in your text messages here, literally, let's look at my text messages, right? I'll be replying with video to these different people. See, look, here's Ben Gothard. He's one of these big drop shipping experts, right? Runs a huge community. And he says, blah, blah, blah. Thanks for, oh yeah, we had this thing with Steve Tan. I was on his podcast and I said, dude, thank you so much. It's awesome, right? And then he replies with a video. Isn't that awesome? See, now now by us initiating video, they reply with video. I send a video, they reply with video.
And you guys already have smartphones, I imagine. Put the phone that you have in the chat. What cell phone do you have in the chat?
Yeah.
What cell phone do you have? Put it in the chat.
So literally, we're replying.
iPhone what? If you have an iPhone, what edition? What edition iPhone?
6S. Oh, dude.
6.
Come on
okay,
now.
we do need to upgrade to 6. 11, no excuses. 11's amazing.
Yeah.
Pixel 3 for sure. iPhone 10, yes. 11 Max, 6. So you guys are able to do these selfie video replies right now to those people.
Yeah.
And it's going to literally change the energy of the conversation so fast because they can see you, they can hear you. And this is the start of video. When we talk about making 100 assets or 1,000 pieces of content, it starts with using your phone now with the people you're already comfortable with, because then you'll start to naturally see the things like lighting, which we could go into and bore you with, or how to make perfect audio, or a whole checklist of making the perfect video. But if you don't have the topics and strategy and the people, you're never going to do it.
Yeah.
So like we said, our goal is to have you get the time and money thing eliminated.
Yeah.
90% of the phones in the chat can start making videos that are going to be high quality.
That's right. Even
right
on
now.
A 6, you can
and
do
now
it.
when it comes to time, you guys already know the people in your industries that are important to communicate with. You already know the topics that are important to communicate about, and using a tool that we shared earlier, you can get those topics easily. So you guys have the strategy there to get started.
Yeah. And just because you do B2B or something professional or SaaS, don't think that silly videos don't work, right? It works super well. I'll give you an example. So you guys probably know Jason Miller, no relation to John Miller, ran digital marketing for Marketo, and then he moved to Microsoft or did it for LinkedIn. And he, let's see, check this out. So 2012 on the Marketo blog, right? Facebook expert Dennis Yu on breaking edge ranking, creating kick-ass ads, right? So we go on and on and on. He asked me all these questions about how do you make good ads, right? And then of course we turn it into a video. And then I decide, because I write for Adweek, which is a major publication for people to do advertising. Hey, we caught up with Jason Miller at the Marketo Summit Conference where I was a speaker, which is really cool. Hillary Clinton was a speaker there too. She spoke after me. And oh shoot, it's premium. Oh, we can't come in and see the article. Well, anyway, I wrote this whole article basically making him look good. Why? Because he said thank you to me, and then I said thank you to him. And then just to top it off again, I had a VA. This is a little secret. Don't tell anybody, okay? This is called a friend EA. You don't tell anybody about this. I'm gonna just go ahead and tell you. But I had someone else write this article about Jason based on all the things that they could find based in my topic wheel of all the places we've been, on all the things we've done before. And here's this whole thing right here. So I had this article basically auto-written because I put the structure in place for the content library to be there. And this is why we like to have VAs.
There's your content library.
There it is, right? Yeah. So you guys have probably never seen this kind of thing because people don't do it. They just talk about it. You know, all these people that like talk about creating content, but never actually do. So here's these other places where we have admin. I'm not going to scroll to the right because I think it has logins. And you can see I have literally written thousands of articles. Yeah, I use this incredible piece of technology. It's called Google Sheets. Yeah, here it is. And by the way, do you want to know, do you think I really have time to write thousands of articles? No, then I didn't ghostwrite it. How did these articles come about? Given what you already know now, how did these articles come about?
Drop it in the comments.
Let me know.
Somebody should know the chat.
How do we make all these articles? Look, these are great topics. Look, the 7 deadly mistakes people make on Facebook. You know, how to use influence to supercharge your Facebook, whatever it is. Transcription. Oh, you guys
exactly.
Win.
There
Lloyd,
you go.
Lloyd, you have like the smartest people come to Traction. Like this is, I can't even trip you guys.
The good thing about copywriting, I think it's Nika, is you don't have to be great at copywriting because you just start work on speaking on your videos and you just make the videos.
Yeah. See, check this out. Social media horror story with a happy ending. And then you won't believe what happens next. One weird secret on how you can get rid of pesticides from your food, or I don't know, whatever, right? And so what happened was we just have a list of topics. We film those topics, either just like this on our phone, sometimes in the bathroom, like whatever, you know, whatever it might be. And we transcribe it into these articles. We turn it into social media posts. If you look at what's going on my Instagram, for example, right? Or the Twitter, you're going to see the same thing. We're literally taking content and we're cross-posting it. And
the transcription, guys, it's in the slides that you guys are going to get, but you can use Otter or Rev as well.
Yeah. So here's Molly Pittman, and here she interviewed me. And then I asked her yesterday, love you, Molly, I want to interview you. And then she said last night, love you too, just let me know, right? And this happens all the time. It's here in the DMs. I was on this guy's podcast. I love Cocoon. Maybe we'll do some Cocoon bads later. So we're drinking Cocoon, right? There's Dr. Sean Dill, who's our Chiro figurehead, right? That's what you want to be able to do. Transcribing tools, use otter.ai or rev.com, which is $1 a minute. Or if you're really cheap about it, there are different free tools that will do these kinds of transcriptions. So you can see here, I was on somebody's podcast, fitness business podcast, and my episode got 2,500 downloads. And here it is, right? I'm in the 2,500 club. That's cool. And here's our buddy, Jan Koch, who's our top WordPress guy. I was just showing him. And here's these other people are tagging me in their articles.
So
see?
Yep. So guys, the transcribing tools, you guys can look all that up yourself. Don't be worrying about the tactical side in terms of like putting it into a software and it being spit out. Make sure that you guys understand the strategy that we're talking about, and from the topic wheel, the people and relationships, the answer the public, or other tools like Google. And then recording these videos or recording the videos now based on what you already have. That's more important. You can transcribe later. What's more important is that you guys are making the content now. Dennis oftentimes will pull things out of the vault from a year ago, a podcast that gets transcribed. Just, you don't have to do this with every single video. You need to have these other pieces in place, and you can worry about transcribing later.
Okay, now I'm going to go super warp speed. You guys ready? So you guys are here with us now. I'm going to show you some stuff that you're going to have questions on, but I just want to give you these resources so you can start to think about the things that you want to go deeper on. Okay, so this is the influence generator guide. Same thing. You want any of this? How to say thank you, how to track saying thank you, all right here, right? Send a note to operations@chirorevenue.com and say, we love Lloyd, and ask for this, the influence generator guide. Or look at how we manage events. Events could be podcasts or webinars. I always choose like these bad pictures of me. I choose by the way, these are all done by the VAs, okay? And this is how we literally do it every single step of the way. This is how we produce content at scale. This is how we document it. We make sure we're filming it. If we're running workshops, all the stuff is here. I'll just keep going. I'm giving you all this stuff for free, so there should be no reason to not want to do this. If you want to build your personal brand, this is how you do it. Inputs and outputs, same process we talked about, collecting your goals, content, and targeting, running through VAs and whatnot to be able to then turn it into all these other things based on your topic wheel, right? Here's my topic wheel. Here's content that I have associated with it. We just talked about influence generator guide. This is our presentation that we only got to some of the pages on. But the point is, you're going to create tons of content where your customers are creating the content for you. That's the key point. If you run an agency, same thing. What do you need to do to get your customers to create the content for you? How do you organize all of it? That's the whole thing right here. Think about how, if you're strapped for time, how do you go about getting other people to do the work for you? Because there's nothing stronger than the authority of a customer versus what you are saying. Here, $1 a day. Let me know in the chat, have you heard of the $1 a day concept? And if you haven't, I'm not offended. It just means it's something that's going to blow your mind once you realize how powerful this is. $1 a day is when you have that content out there that you've distributed, you're then going to put it out there, boosting it for $1 a day on Facebook. LinkedIn, the budget's a little bit higher, right? But there's all these different ways where you make sure that your stuff is being seen against a custom audience or other kind of audience. Let me show you, for example. Do you have a public figure page on Facebook, which is not your profile? So if you do a search for me, the one with the blue check mark is me as a person, right? Yep. Oh, you misspelled operations, but you got Chirorevenue right, Mr. Lloyd. So this is me as a person. However, this is me as a page. It is a business page that happens to be called Dennis U that looks like me, and it is me, but it's a business page. You can see this gray bar, business manager. Look, this is me with all these various people, right? Which we can take these snippets and boost it. Use the advertising system, even though we're not selling. Here's the thing. I'm using Facebook's advertising system to get me traction. You see what I did there? You like that, Lloyd? I'm getting traction.
Pun intended.
Yeah. And here, there's me on CNN, these other places. And there's all these different videos. And these are off of my public figure page. Let me know in the comments, why are we doing this on a public figure page instead of just personally? Because why would because people say, like, why do you have two Facebooks? Why are we doing this? Let me know why in the comments. Because you can boost the post. That's right, Robert, because you cannot do that personally. You could do that at one point before, but they had it for like 6 months and then they killed it. Made me really sad. So I'm taking these best moments, these different snippets, uploading them here. Now, do you think I'm doing this? Do you think I'm uploading these things? Do you think I'm posting this at all? I'm doing none of it, because the VAs are the ones that are doing all of this kind of stuff. All these little snippets, lightweight moments in time, a lot of behind the scenes, a lot of thank you, a lot of interviewing other people. There's me and the mayor pro tem of Las Vegas. You want to see this one? This is fun.
Now, this is only possible, guys. Don't worry about necessarily like VAs or processes like that now. Because I see that coming into the chat. What you guys have to realize is Dennis is recording these videos because he has his topic wheel together, and he has those topics that he is not only a master on, but looking for masters to be. Yes, VAs can edit virtual assistants. We do have teams of them, hundreds of them actually.
We have a lot.
But they're not going to solve your problem of not getting on camera. We asked how many video editors you guys have and how many videos you're making a week. Zero. Right. So we're giving you guys the overarching strategy, and hopefully you guys find a ton of value in that. So that way you can go use it yourself.
Virtual assistants, actually, what's the quickest way to find them?
Onlinejobs.ph. That's the training. Actually, let me just show you this real quick.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, our friend, John Jonas, is the one that runs it. And we have no equity interest or anything in it. They have 1 million virtual assistants on this site. You guys want to see what we actually do on onlinejobs.ph? Want me to log in? Let me know in the chat. You want to see this?
Let's do it.
Yeah?
Let's do it.
All right, let's log in. So you can see we're practicing what we preach. I'm not just giving you some opinion, okay? All right, so there's a lot of VAs that are applying, as you can see, for these different jobs all the time. And this one here, let's look at this one. I've never clicked on it yet. Stan will work 40 hours per week, full-time. He has a bachelor's degree. There he is on LinkedIn for $525 a month, full-time. Isn't that awesome? Awesome graphics. So this is the position that he applied for. And he used the keyword squirrel. Why is he squirrel? Because buried in our job posting, we say, if you're paying attention, say the word squirrel in your subject line. And here's his stuff.
Because that helps us weed out. Like if I made one video editing job and I had 800 applicants, there's that many people ready to work within your teams. And a lot of people think that people are impossible to find. This is an amazing place to do it, onlinejobs.ph. So because we have 800 people apply to one position, then you have to go ahead and you have to put steps in there. So that way you're not just sorting through.
Yeah. So we have guides on how we do all this. You know what? I'm just going to go over here and you can see this. And HIR hiring. So we have all these different ways that we hire people, and with VAs,
Choices in hiring. There you go.
This one.
Yep. I think it is.
Yep. So we'll hire on Fiverr,
In the
Fancy
stages
Hands,
of
these
finding.
other VAs. Yeah. Here you can see these VAs. We have 6 roles we hired for. They start at like $3 an hour. Yep, down here they start at $3 an hour. You see this, and they go up 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 as they become managers and start to manage other people. We have an entire process. So remember we said squirrel. So if they're designer VA, they say squirrel in their application. If they say raccoon, we're like, oh, we know they're at the last round, right? So if the honey badger, then we know they're a content VA. And we hire VAs only into training. Into process, right? You never hire someone unless you have an existing process. So this is our whole way of hiring these different people. They do these different things. We have automation on how we bring people through these. I just wanted you guys to see that this is the key. This is our open secret, that we grow because we have these back-end processes. A lot of people think it's about the figureheads. I promise you it's not. It's about the fact that we have processes. People will think like Tristan or me, or like, here, this is Michelle. We were coming back from a conference we were speaking at. And so I was holding my phone, we were walking back, and I said, just for fun, Michelle, I want you to say these words.
What happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas unless it's on Facebook.
See, I've interviewed her, just like stupid stuff like that. How can you, get someone to do things like that? But how do I stop the share? What do you?
I mean, this was fantastic. A lot of it to a newbie or even an experienced person can seem overwhelming. Where do you think people should start?
Well, like I said, you guys already have your own industries. That's why we asked where you're working. So we have fitness or pesticides. Then you have a topic wheel. We showed you guys exactly how to do that as well through the recording. So you'll have hundreds, thousands of things to talk about. And then your iPhone. Most people in here have the iPhone. They can record on those topics. That's an easy 3-step process. We could give you guys thousands and thousands of hours worth of content, and it's going to be way too much. You guys can all take the initiative to start right there. And what we find is the most successful people in these process just follow those 3 steps right there, and they get started today. And then to the people in their lives that they already have, they make thank you videos and send thank you, or they send video messages, and they get started on that now. After a presentation like this, the most successful people are the ones who start now. So if you have messages right now open with your friends, your girlfriend, your coworkers, whatever, send them a video reply back and just watch their reaction, see what happens. Send 5 or 10 of them out today and watch what happens. And it's just proof in the pudding that the video works. There's no secret. There's no special recipe. Just make the video.
Yeah.
Hopefully that answered, Lloyd.
Yeah, definitely. That answered it. And then you use the VAs from online to essentially cut these up into different formats and whatnot.
Yep. Can you imagine $500 an hour, someone who's full-time working for you?
$500 a month.
I'm sorry. $500 a month. Yeah. Yeah.
We're not lawyers.
Yeah. But
$500 an hour, I'd like to do that job.
But let's say you have a team of 3 or 4 of them, like two or 3 video editors, maybe a content person, maybe an ads person, maybe a project manager, because you don't want to manage all the other people. And let's say you have a team of 4 or 5 people that cost you $2,000 a month. How awesome would that be? Right.
And then let's touch into the last piece here about the distribution. You talked a little bit about the $1 a day strategy. Can you give like a couple more specific examples? I really like that. Like, and how?
So you can see with like Dennis's post, the whole point of this process, we didn't really dive into like the social amplification engine, is to take this content that you make. So that's step 1. We can't do this for you unless you do that. And you can't do it for yourself unless you do that, make the content. And then you amplify what's already working for just $1 a day. because you have proof, thanks to the content saying thank you and pushing those out there, that it already works. Instead of spending a bunch of ridiculous money, spending thousands of dollars a day on Facebook ads, there's accounts that people that we've worked with that spend 10 grand a day. You don't need to do all that.
Yeah.
You need to start with the content that's actually going to be working and relevant. And then you just amplify what's already working slowly to other audiences. That way, the Facebook or Google or YouTube channels do all the work for you.
Awesome. And then when you say $1 a day, you basically run an ad to that content on Facebook, LinkedIn, and other channels.
Yep. For literally $1 a day. Now there might be like a minimum on LinkedIn that's like, I think it's $5 or $10, but it's because you already know that that content's working because you've been putting it out there, that it actually costs you nothing. You're getting free distribution, which is going to allow you to collect more awareness of who you are and move through that topic wheel.
It's the most effective, low-cost way to test the $1 a day thing, right? And so we have a whole course on that, which we want to give to you guys for free. Go through it. It'll work on every channel. The point is that things that are working will continue to work. We have posts that are 7 or 8 years old that are still continuing to produce. So as you produce content, lots of content, you don't know what's going to win. Let the system on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, tell you what's working.
And there's a lot of folks say that, it gets incrementally more expensive or exponentially higher to squeeze the same ROI from some of these channels like Facebook and whatnot. How do you address that?
The costs are always going up 30, 40% every year. And that's all the more reason to be careful about your testing. And what happens when the competition goes up and the algorithm has to be more picky is that the winners get stronger and the losers get killed off. So you want to find the winning content. The price of ads are going to flush out the weak people. The weak people who do not know how to create video content, who can't hire up a team so that you can systematize and test, who can build processes. So you might have these different figureheads, but behind all of that are these processes. We are giving you these processes because that is the only way to compete.
And the fastest way to get around these channels, guys, a lot of times people ask if it's a channel problem, like, oh, my Facebook ads, or the cost is going up, is to have relationships with your topic wheel and get them to endorse you. That'll cut right through the noise.
Yep. And anything that you would have as text, make it a video. Always start with video, plan everything around video. It's so easy to make videos. There's no excuse. If you make the video, you get it out there for $1 a day, you hire one VA to start. I would love to hear where you are in just 30 days from now. Or 90 days from now. I want to know where your business is. This will revolutionize your business. And it is not something you can purchase from an agency or from some kind of tool, or you're not going to get it from Google or Facebook or Instagram. The reason why people aren't doing this is it requires you to do it.
So the first step is come up with your topic wheel, create the content, find VAs to edit it, and then distribute it on multiple channels. It sounds very simplified, distilled, but it's a lot of work. And I think a lot of the work is at the beginning. We're creating the topic wheel and the content, and then you can get the flywheel of distribution going. That's amazing.
Amen.
Yep. And it comes in phases, if we already asked everybody's industry, so they already have that. So they already know the core of their topic wheel. We did the pesticide topic wheel right now. Right. So that gives context to the content, and you don't have to have things edited for it to be good. You can just go ahead and make the content and get it out there, and you can go ahead and say thank you to the people. Like, you don't need to edit a thank you video.
Right.
That seems like less genuine.
Yeah.
Right. You just go ahead and get the thank you videos out now. You can go ahead and start sending messages through video now. That way it's easy. I send text messages to the people that I talk to back and forth, just like Dennis, with anyone. It doesn't matter who it is or what level of relationship. I just send it right back.
Yeah,
definitely. No, this is fantastic. And when you post these videos on the channels, are you would you post it to YouTube and then run the ad for the YouTube on Facebook, or do you put a native Facebook video? Literally. Okay,
both, but we want to cut highlights out and share them in our email list on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and whatever channel you have is your strongest channel. So we're all in different industries, so there's going to be a different proper channel mix.
Awesome. This is fantastic. I learned a ton, as always, speaking with you guys. Thanks, everyone, for joining us.
I need some traction.